there, folks. Ryan Dahl here from PraiseCharts. I'm so excited. We are talking to an absolute legend, worship leader, songwriter. This girl has brought us amazing songs. Brooke Ligertwood from Australia, America. I mean, I don't even know where she lives right now, but she's all around the world all the time and bringing us such great songs like What a Beautiful Name, Who You Say I Am, now just recently 1,000 Hallelujahs, and we're going to hint today at a new song coming out on Friday. I'm telling you, I was super nervous coming into this interview, but I just spent the last 2 minutes with Brooke. We already hammed it up. I already feel like she's practically my sister. So why don't you come join in on this conversation with me and Brooke Ligertwood. Hey, sister.
Hello. I wish I had some of those genes. We were just talking about that before.
Oh, yeah, right on. Brooke, I'm sorry. I said you're from Australia, but then I'm like, I think you actually live in America, don't you? So are you south of me?
Yeah. I
You
am
are.
from New Zealand and I
Right.
live in California. Yes.
You do.
Yes, I do. Where are
Very
you?
good.
Where do you live?
Well, I live in Langley, British Columbia. So literally way north of you. Have you been up here?
I have. I was in Langley
Okay.
3 weeks ago, 1 month ago.
No way.
Yes,
With
literally. My
Ben?
friend, yes. Well, I
Okay.
surprised them. So Ben and Carolee Fielding,
Yes.
two of our best friends in the whole world, and I haven't seen them in almost 2 years because of the pandemic. And
Ah,
they finally broke out of Australia. Were in Langley
yeah,
visiting their family, and I popped up at a hockey game and
really.
surprised them. Yeah, so
Oh, that
it's
is so
just so
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
Well, just a little bit of
So
name dropping, but Ben's wife's sister,
yes,
uh, I think this is how it is. It's Ben's wife's sister works for
Kristen.
PraiseCharts. Yeah, Kristen. You know Kristen. There you go.
Yes.
So, Kristen does our chord charts. I mean, there you go.
Well, she does. I never knew this.
I know. I've been
That's
friends with Kristen
amazing.
for many, many years. And then
Oh my
I don't know if you've
goodness.
met Charlene. Witt is like really close friends with Kristen. Charlene does our publishing. I mean,
Wow.
it's a small world after all. What can we
It really
say, right?
is. It really is. Yeah. So
So
nice. Oh,
so
how
there you go.
lovely.
Well, just to kind of open up, Brooke, I wanted to say to you first, we're so grateful for you and your voice and the way you lead with such grace and power. Somehow you are able to mix together grace and humility and power, all, like just a powerful voice, powerful lyrics, incredible songs that have served so many people. I hope anybody that is listening in can just chime in the chat, just saying thanks to you for that. So I wanted to
Oh,
start with that.
very kind. Thank you. That's very
And
kind.
secondly, just a little bit more on a personal note is like I've been leading worship for 25 or 30 years, and I love just sitting down at the piano and just a simple acoustic piano and playing songs of worship. And I want you to know I've seen you on, I think, Instagram with no audience, just sitting at your piano. I think especially during the pandemic, you were doing some of that. And then I also have seen you in a stadium with 10,000 people around you, just sitting at a piano. And those are my like favorite moments of Brooke is I just want to hear your voice and the piano and just clear all the clutter away. Something that you bring in those moments. So I really
So
experienced
kind.
that
Thank you.
and love that. Can you tell me,
Wow.
like, what's that like for you? What's it like to be in a stadium with 20,000 people, or I don't know how many people have been around, and just sit at the piano and clear the clutter and only
Mm,
hear your voice, the piano, and thousands of voices. It's like
mm.
it's a worship leader's dream, I think, to experience that. What's that like?
Right. I often think about I love when we get to strip it back like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, for most of us, it's not going to be in a setting like that. But even, for example, I was leading worship at my own church on this past Sunday, and
okay.
at the moment we're meeting in a tent at Hillsong OC.
Aw,
And
yeah,
third song in, I was about to introduce a new song by Hillsong United, and the power went off. We lost power in the tent, so no sound
right.
system, no nothing. And but fortunately, it's why I always have my guitar with me because you never know
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen. So, when you don't have a sound system and everything goes out, and then it's just all we have is the acoustic guitar and our voices. And so we just started singing Cornerstone, and it was a powerful moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that all of these. I mean, obviously, I love music. I've spent my life in and with music, and I love it. I love all of the different elements of it. But in terms of the song of the church, I think it's um, when it is when it's reduced to just those key elements,
Yeah.
it almost becomes much more than it ever is with all the
Yeah.
other elements. Somehow
Yeah.
there's a multiplication of potency when we get that little taste of heaven, of the multitudes before the throne,
Yeah.
singing one song to the Lamb.
Yeah.
So I love music. I love all the parts, but when we do get to just strip it back to the melody and the lyrics and a simple accompaniment and the
Yeah.
sound of the voices in unison, it's so
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
It's something unique about your songs in particular. Like two songs I'm thinking of is What a Beautiful Name and King of Kings are both songs that could be so massive with the band, choir, orchestra. I mean, I could hear it all, but they also work so great just on the piano, right? And
Mm.
it takes such wisdom and, musical intuition to be able to write a song that has that kind of breadth of application. So
Mm.
is that kind of in your heart to always want to write a song like that?
I I I I want to write all of them. So I
Yeah.
think it's really
Okay.
important that, it's like, I mean, so I know we're going to hint at a new song that's coming from me on Friday.
Hmm.
I've already released a song called A Thousand Hallelujahs, which I think fits in that the power goes out in the tent or in the building. You can do the
Hmm.
song with the guitar. So I want those songs, but I also think, I guess just as somebody who makes and loves to make music and art that points to the creator, I also think it's important to have art in the church that also captures the nuance. So we need those songs that are, songs like Cornerstone, songs like Oh Praise the Name, songs like
Yeah.
What a Beautiful Name or King of Kings that are reliable and trustworthy, and that
Yeah.
it can gather everybody in the room around them and get somewhere in the presence of God. We need
Right.
those songs. And then we also need the songs that will never do that, but they might they might be like, if those other songs are a scalpel, maybe this is just like a little needle. We need the
Hmm.
songs that have also a very precise application.
Yeah.
um, and so I find beauty in the breadth, I
In the
guess.
breadth of
Yeah.
it. Beautiful. Well, let's take a little bit of time to talk about A Thousand Hallelujahs. I've kind of set it up on the screen here. You can see in PraiseCharts, obviously, we love it. When new songs come from you, then we'll write a chord chart. We write the piano vocal
Amazing.
chart. Hey, here's something new. I invented this chart type just a few weeks ago, and we've made hundreds of them. We call them
Nice.
stage charts. Just simplifies your song down
Yeah, that's
and
great.
then we'll go from that all the way up to the full
Wow.
orchestra. And then already for A Thousand Hallelujahs, we've already made a choral version of it so that choirs can sing
Wow.
in it. So we're really trying to make it so that if you just have a piano,
Incredible.
great. But if you got the full
Mhm.
orchestra and choir and all of that, there's room for you as well. So
That's
well,
amazing.
let's just look at this song a little bit. I've got the lyrics up, and maybe you could tell us. I know Phil Wickham helped you write it,
Mhm.
and we love Phil Wickham's music as well. What a great, powerful
Yeah.
songwriter, especially the last couple
Yeah.
of years. So tell
Yeah.
us a little about your heart in this song and how it came about. Can you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my husband Scott, he wrote the song with us as well. Um,
Right
he and
on.
I um, he and I have been friends with Phil and his wife Mallory for not too long, actually, maybe just the past couple of years since the pandemic, and but have lots of mutual friends. And we had kind of been talking for a while about, let's get together and just see what happens. And so it was last June, I believe, so not that long ago. Um, that we went down. Phil and ourselves live only about an hour's drive from each other, so we went down and to the church where Phil and his family attend on a Sunday. It's this beautiful little church in Southern
Yeah.
California, and we were sitting in this church hall, and and just looking around at it, admiring the building. It's a really old building. Congregations have met and worshipped in that building for generations, and
Hmm.
we just began talking about that. I think the three of us are all very inspired by that, by the generational nature of the church of Jesus.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about the generations of worship that had been brought in this place, and the thousands of hallelujahs is how we put it. And kind of that phrase sparked this song. And honestly, it came out so so smoothly and so almost fully formed that we were all a bit aghast and felt as if we were in the midst of a bit of a miracle, really. And that was the first and only time we've ever written together, and that's what happened. So now we can never ever do it again, because we can't risk it. We'll never be able to beat it.
So where did some of these lyrics did someone have the lyrics, someone have the melody, or how did some of these lyrics and melodies kind of form their way together as the song came out?
Yeah, I mean, all of this happened in the room together. None of us brought any of these pieces, which was just, again, what it felt. And that's the story of a lot of the rest of this album, actually, is just every song felt this way, like a miracle that kind of happened in the room. And so I think we all were just kind of chiming in. Phil, the Phil is behind the chord movement. So specifically in the chorus, it's a really simple song melodically, but actually one of the things that kind of gives it its power and its momentum in the chorus is actually the chords that are happening underneath it. There's some strange, strangely placed, threes and sixes, and so in quick succession. And so those chords underneath I remember listening to the voice memo of the song afterwards, and just trying to, because Phil was on the keyboard, just making sure that I got those those chord movements right, because I think they're so intrinsic to why the chorus kind of lifts the way it does and dips the way it does, because of the movement under that simple melody. So it was a real pleasure. Yeah.
I was watching on Instagram, I think it might be one of your latest posts, you were talking about this kind of sandwich effect, so the 1,000 hallelujahs is like, we're all loving it. It's very like worshipful, and we all feel great. It's perfect. And then, but something is coming that might be a little more piercing. I don't know. I'll let you tell the story of that, and I might do quick flashes of the song, because we're not allowed to really share this, but
so I was reading, I'm just going to pull it up, in Hebrews 12, it talks about the Lord disciplines the one he loves and chastens everyone he accepts as a son. He says, if you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you are not legitimate, not true sons and daughters at all. And then it goes on, but God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in his holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. And so the next song that is coming is a song called Nineveh, but my friend Stephen Furtick and I wrote.
Oh, there it was.
There's a little quick. There it is.
There it was. There it's gone.
And this is not 1,000 Hallelujahs. This is not a song that I see being sung widely in the church at all, but I hope that it's a song that, if there's a pastor teaching on the book of Jonah, this would be a great song to do. But we really, in writing this song, stuck really closely to the narrative of the book of Jonah, which was so fulfilling and refreshing to be able to write that way, sticking closely to a narrative piece of scripture. But really, Nineveh, you begin... I'll give you a spoiler alert. The first line is, Nineveh, O Nineveh, the Lord is turning toward you. And so when you hear it at first, you think that you put yourself in the place of Jonah speaking out to Nineveh. But then in the bridge, there's a bit of a plot twist, and suddenly you realize that there is a Nineveh within each of us that the Lord is turning toward and must be confronted and prophesied to, and corrected. So that's a nice
and didn't Stephen Furtick have a role in this? His voice seems to pop up everywhere. He's like this pastor to worship leaders around the nation or around the world. And so I don't know. I don't know, Stephen, but tell me about how does he play a role in this? What kind of pastoral voice does he have that you can see as he's a songwriter?
Yeah, one thing that I love about Stephen is, obviously he has a formidable teaching gift,
Yeah,
but I kind of enjoy that. That's not how I know him.
right.
I know him as a songwriter, and as somebody whose mind is so fertile, so alert, and and he is somebody who is so in love with the word of God and the Bible. And so to
Mm,
be able to write with him for me is such a pleasure, because I love the Bible so much and I love
mm,
theology so much. And so it's not even necessarily, when I'm writing for me, about the song that ends up coming out of it. It's about the conversations that happen. What am I going
mm,
to learn here in this conversation? What am I going to
mm,
learn? What am I going to see in scripture from talking to this person that I didn't see before? And so I feel like the process with Stephen, who's so brilliant when it comes to, I feel like one of his great strengths is concept and title. So, even if you look at the titles of songs or songs and projects like Graves into Gardens, things, he's able to
yeah.
take an idea and pack it into such an economy of words,
Hmm.
which is so skillful. And so actually, even before we set up a time to get together, he texted me and said, I have a song I want us to write together. It's called Nineveh. And that was all I needed to know. I was like,
Wow.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Nineveh, yes. And I already, just with that name, that noun,
Yeah.
so pregnant with meaning and possibility.
Right.
I was so excited to get in the room and do that. And so I'm so grateful for that collaboration, and really excited for people to hear it.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it will be refreshing for some people.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you don't have to wait very long because we
Yeah.
literally we have the chart, and we're gonna be making the piano vocals, and I'm sure it'll all come out, but on Friday, and of course on Spotify and all that
Awesome.
kind of stuff. So that's great. Okay,
Yeah.
one last thing before we wrap up here is you'll be glad to know this morning I just became a member of Creatr.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I
Wow.
thought,
Congratulations and
why
thank
don't
you.
you just tell us a little bit about this? This is a little bit of a side
Yeah.
hustle from Brooke, I guess.
Who
What
knows what I
is,
do, honestly? I do a million
yeah,
things.
right. Tell us about Creatr. I mean, it looks like an amazingly well put together site resource. It's like a masterclass for worship leaders, really. I'm sure that
Yeah.
was inspiration. Tell me a little bit about what's ahead for me.
Yeah, so Creatr. So if you are a creative in the church, a worship leader or a songwriter, you are going to find courses, classes, and conversations on this platform that are
Okay.
there to equip and resource you. So the courses are like our premium content. That is a deep dive into a subject taught by one instructor, and it's taught by them according to their own methodology, their own experience, what they've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is biblically vetted. So we're not teaching kind of opinions. We're
Mm-hmm.
teaching certainly ideas and individual practices, but that are grounded in scriptural truth. So we've got courses, we've got classes down there, which which kind of came closer to launch. We really realized, the group of us who are involved in this, that there's a lot of things that people stumble over theologically. So, for example, the idea of calling. Sam Lopez there has a class called "What Does It Mean to Be Called?" and because we were really talking about, there's, as creators in the church, when people don't have a robust theology about some of these things, it's going to trip them up. It's going to lead to bitterness and disappointment and all these things. So, for example, what is calling? Like, if you think that you're called to be a
Mm-hmm.
worship leader, what does that mean when you're 60 or 70 years old and you're not getting
Mm-hmm.
gospel anymore? Is your calling over, or is calling so much greater than that in the kingdom of God? Is calling something else? So that's the classes, and then the conversations are simply just, they're kind of glimpses and invitations to community. So they're conversations between
Mm-hmm.
two creatives talking about their processes, talking about things they've learned, talking about the kingdom, the church, all of these things. We've got a lot in the pipeline on their way too. We're going to go more into some music directing content this year, and then also I'm not sure that I'm allowed to say this, but I think currently the team are working with about 80 churches to develop Creatr for teams. So we're really aware as well that in the season we've all been in, that people need content. So we're not going to just provide, if you have a creative team night, we'll have videos on lessons that you can choose that you can show at your team night, or we'll just give you the notes and you can teach it. If you're a worship pastor, you are, we're aware there's a lot of worship pastors, it's not their full-time job. They're working during the day and volunteering and serving. So we're really focused this year on Creatr for teams. How is it that we can, our aim and our goal is to be helpful. That's it, to be the most helpful that we can to creative communities and churches building local church. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Well, we're going to get behind you. We'll help share the word. We're going to put the notes or the link to that in the show notes for this time together. So there you go, Brooke. Thank you for 15 plus a few extra bonus minutes. Got a little hint of Nineveh. Watch for that on Friday. And God bless you as you continue to lead us all with your songs. All right.
Gosh, thank you so much for all you do. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.